Hello! Welcome to a different type of video for my channel. I have never done this kind of video before, however it's something that I feel passionately about and also interested in, and something that I enjoy consuming content on as well to expand my own knowledge. So today's video is my first time using a menstrual cup and my experience with doing that. So definitely very different from books. I do talk about one book in this video, I will be talking about one book in this video, so it's not completely exempt from books, but generally this is going to be very open, very honest about my experience using a menstrual cup. So I suppose some housekeeping, in a way. Throughout this video I am going to be talking very openly and honestly about this experience. I'm not going to hold back with what I'm saying. I am not going to show any blood. I hope that that goes without saying. I'm not going to show that on the channel, but I'm going to be talking openly about my experience. So if you are squeamish, or if this is not something that you think you're going to be able to enjoy, or it's not really for enjoying, I suppose, it's more just, I don't really know what I want this to be. I think I just wanted to share my experience in case anyone else is thinking of going through the same thing, because there's a lot of videos out there about how to use a menstrual cup, but also I feel like it's important to show the failings and successes of it as well, as someone just trying it out that doesn't really know too much what they're doing from previous experience of using one, because this will be my first time using one. I've researched it, I've looked into it, but generally this is going to be a learning experience for me and maybe one for you as well. So yeah, housekeeping number one is this is going to be open and honest. I am going to be using words to describe things that I know that make some people feel uncomfortable, such as the word vagina or vulva, period, blood. We're going to be talking about that kind of thing. Again, if this is not the kind of thing you're interested in, that's absolutely fine. I know this is a very different video from what I normally film. That's fine if you're not interested, that is absolutely okay. Similarly, I'm expecting probably some trolls to just comment saying it's disgusting and things, but periods are not disgusting. Periods are something natural that happens to a body, and it is not disgusting. Yes, there is blood, but that does not mean it has to be disgusting. That is something from the inside of your body, and it is something that happens as part of a natural cycle, so that shouldn't be considered disgusting. I think people that say it's disgusting are probably people that are just really unaware of the actual science behind it and just generally a bit ignorant towards it. So if anyone comments that kind of thing, we're just going to ignore that and push it to the side, because be proud of your body and proud of what your body can do. And if you are somebody that has periods, then that's an amazing thing, because that means your body is doing this amazing biological thing inside of you, and that is pretty darn clever. So without further ado, let's talk about the whys. Why am I using a menstrual cup? So I have been getting periods since I was, I think, about 12 and a half. And for so long I was using sanitary towels, and I have been happy with sanitary towels in terms of the comfort and ease of use of them, but I really hate a couple of things about sanitary towels. Number one, the waste. There is so much waste built up from one individual human from using sanitary towels, and I am not comfortable with that, because they are just, you know, you use about 2 or 3 a day. Some days, obviously it changes as to how far into your cycle you are. They are not good products for the environment. And also, if you're someone like me who, well, when I did live back at home, I would be putting them in a little plastic bag that was a environmentally friendly plastic bag, but at the same time it's a neater way to tidy them up, so if someone else goes into the bin, they're not going to see your sanitary towel there, then it's even more waste with that kind of thing. So I don't like that at all. I also hate the fact that it feels almost like you're wearing a nappy when you're wearing a sanitary towel. It's not the most comfortable experience. Whilst it's not obviously painful or anything, it is just a second layer in between your knickers and your crotch. It just doesn't feel very pleasant, and obviously it's kind of visible sometimes depending on if you're wearing tighter clothing and things. I just feel like I really know when I'm on my period because of the sanitary towel, and that's annoying. So that's reason number two. Reason number three is the mess of a sanitary towel. Obviously, and this is when I say I'm going to talk openly and honestly, and this next bit is going to be me talking about blood related things. Obviously, when you're using a sanitary towel, there is nothing stopping the blood from coming out of your vagina and out of your vulva. So when you go to the toilet and wipe, there is usually going to be quite a lot of blood, which just ends up being a never-ending cycle of just taking ages to go to the toilet and to make sure that you are clean properly. And that is just driving me insane now. After doing that for so many years, it's driving me bonkers. So you might probably be thinking, well, why haven't you tried a tampon? I have tried tampons. I tried tampons 2 different times in my life, I would say. I attempted to try tampons when I was quite a young teen. I was on holiday, I got my period, we had a private pool. I was very upset because it meant I couldn't go in the pool. So my mum suggested I try tampons. Now, all she had on her was tampons without an applicator, so that was what I was attempting to try. I was not very familiar with my body. I didn't really understand what the different parts were of my vulva and of my vagina, and I didn't really understand what I was meant to be doing with this tampon, because I feel like there's different angles you can insert a tampon, and some are going to be correct and some are not, and I just didn't get that. And obviously my mum was trying to help me through the door, but it was just very difficult as a small person that didn't really feel too comfortable and still felt a bit shy with that kind of thing. So that attempt didn't work. Then when I went to uni, my friends tried to encourage me again that maybe it would be the right kind of thing for me. So we tried with an applicator. I say we being me. They encouraged me. They were stood on the other side of the door. At this point, I'm much more comfortable with my body. I know what things are. I would always suggest getting a mirror and just looking at yourself down there just to try and work out how you look, because everyone is going to have a different vulva. So my friends were helping me outside the door by talking me through it, which was probably a lot more helpful because as a teen, I felt very shy and uncomfortable with it, with my mum talking me through it, whereas as a young adult, I felt a lot more okay with talking with my friends about it. So they're encouraging me through the door. I've got an applicator on the tampon and I'm having a little bit more success. However, for me, I always could tell it was there. And I know that that's what is meant to be saying that you haven't put it in properly, but like, you know if you've got it in properly as well. And I knew that that was the way in it was meant to go. I just felt really uncomfortable. And I also found that wearing tampons actually gave me a headache. I don't know why, but every time I had a tampon in, it gave me a headache. I am also quite lucky in the sense that my periods are quite quick and I only have them heavy for like a day, maybe 2, but probably just a day. So for me as well, I found the tampon quite painful to remove because I wasn't always on a heavy cycle, so the tampon wasn't absorbing as much blood, therefore it was quite cotton woolly and dry to remove, which I felt quite painful. So I didn't like that kind of thing. Also, I have got ectropion, which is when these cells from the inside of your cervix grow on the outside of your cervix, which can cause random spotting of blood. And I didn't know if wearing tampons was making that worse or not. I still don't know whether it was, but I don't know if anything like that was linked to the headache. So generally, tampons were not for me. I didn't like them. I tried them for a couple of months and I just couldn't get on with them. So that brings me to the menstrual cup. If you're wondering what a menstrual cup is, this is the one that I have got. It goes in this way into your vagina with this little bit, almost like a tail still outside, so you can pull on the tip to pull the menstrual cup out. And basically what this is meant to do is around the ridge here that you can see, it's meant to form a seal around the outside of your vagina that is where the blood will not be able to get through. This top bit folds up and you basically pop this whole top bit here into your vagina and it cups the blood. So theoretically, it is literally a cup for the blood. Aptly named menstrual cup. The brand that I have got is called Hey Girls. Now there are quite a few different brands of menstrual cups, and the reason I have gone for the Hey Girls one is because I found this one in Waitrose reduced. I think this one was £8, whereas the other ones I was looking at, such as brands from Moon Cup, were I think about £20 to £30. And given that this was something I wasn't sure if I wanted to was going to get on well with, I didn't want to invest that much money in it immediately. So I went for this one, which I think is still going to be a really good brand. I researched it. I have gone for a size small. The 2 categories for this one is small is the size suitable for women who have not given birth to a child and are less than 25 years of age. Now I am 25, so I was a bit unsure, but I thought as I've not used one of these before, I will start with the smaller one. Large is suitable for women who have given birth to a child or are older than 25 years of age. I know each brand does this differently, but this is the one that I went for because I just happened to see it reduced and I thought, that's it, I'm going to go for it. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, so when I saw one at a cheaper price, I felt I could invest in this and then know if I wanted to go for one of the other brands or if this brand was actually just fine. So inside the packaging, obviously I've looked at all of this already, but there is a little guide here that goes through how you should use and care for your menstrual cup. So it gives a little guide there as to how you're meant to insert it, which is something I have looked at and attempted and think it's definitely going to be like a work in progress type thing. It also comes with a little bag, so it gives you the option to be more discreet with it if you want to. And then this is the menstrual cup itself. So here's the little tail, we're going to call it, but basically it's very, very bendy. It is meant to be something that you can easily fold and bend and use in the way that feels comfortable for you. So I believe there's lots of different folding methods. The one that is recommended on the packaging is you fold it like that, and then you fold it like that, and then insert it into your vagina. Now, I don't know if it's recommended or not that you can use lubricant to help you insert this. So that is possibly something that you could do if you're finding it's difficult. Again, I don't know yet because I haven't really used it yet. I've had a little play about to try and understand it, but I haven't really gone any further than that. So I'm intrigued to see what kind of an experience I have with this. Again, I am not the be-all and end-all of what this is like. I am going to be using it for the first time. Another thing I like about this is today is Saturday, and my period usually comes either on Saturday or Sunday. And obviously, if you're wearing a sanitary towel, you just put the sanitary towel on the Saturday in my situation, and then if it comes, it comes. If you are using a tampon, it's a little bit different because obviously you don't want the tampon in there if you're not actually on your period yet, because that is going to be a little bit more painful, or it is for me anyway. Again, everyone is completely different. But I see no harm in having this in now if I don't know whether my period's going to come today or tomorrow. I could be wrong, again, I could be wrong, but I don't see how that is going to do any harm if I don't actually get my period until tomorrow. You can also leave these ones in, this brand, they're all different, check your own brand if you're using one, but I can leave this in for 12 hours. So I could put it in 8 in the morning and take it out 8 at night, or obviously change it throughout if you're on a heavier flow. You're going to know your own body. But generally, I'm really intrigued to give this a go. I think I'm probably going to stop talking now because this is the world's longest intro. But yeah, join me along the experience of using this, and I will try and give you my absolute honest thoughts. I would also say as well, with cleaning this, you should either use boiling hot water over the hob or in a mug. I'm choosing a mug, so I've got a special menstrual cup mug. I put this in and just sterilize it with boiling hot water, and you can also use a latex-free soap. My camera is about to run out of space on my memory card, so what I'll do is go through the cleaning process of it in another clip and just show you the products that I would use. So let's give it a go. A nice cup of menstrual cups. So I have just popped this in the boiling hot water just to sterilize it before I use it, and I'm going to leave that in there for, I think it's 4 to 5 minutes. But quickly, I've cleared my memory card so I have a little bit more space, but I wanted to just talk to you about a couple of other bits that I didn't have time to fit in on the other one. Also, this is probably a bad idea for acoustics because I'm in my bathroom, so you've got the fan and the echoing as well, most likely. And no, not all of my flat is yellow, it's just that we had leftover paint and I wanted a yellow bathroom, so ta-da! But cleaning product wise, this is what I am going to be using as a cleaning product for the menstrual cup. This is Femfresh Intimate Skincare. It's a daily wash for your vulva, but it's 100% soap free, so this is going to be friendly for the menstrual cup. You can also use, I would imagine, things that you would also use to clean sex toys with, because again, they're going to be silicone free, which is what can damage the menstrual cup. Shh, fan, shush. So this is what I will be using to clean it with, as well as obviously boiling hot water to sterilize it. Also, I will be wearing one of these because I don't know how much I trust this yet. So this is a thin panty liner. I'm going to be wearing one of these just in case, because obviously I don't fully know what I'm doing yet. And I wanted to recommend you a book. If you are watching this and you're thinking you would like to learn more about your own body and you want to be more comfortable with that, I've got a book here I would like to recommend. This is called Vagina, a Re-Education, and this is written by Lynn Enright. This is a very, very interesting overview and detailed look into as well your vagina, and also the correct words to use for this, because vagina and vulva are both the correct words but also mean completely different things, and I think often get swept away as the same thing. But actually the vulva is the outside part, so when I'm talking about vulva I'm talking about the outside area, whereas the vagina is the inside part. So when I'm saying that the menstrual cup will be going into the vagina, that is the inside part that leads up to your cervix. This book is generally really interesting to learn more about your own body. I would highly recommend it. It talks about so many different topics and just talks so openly and honestly about it that I really think this is valuable if you want to learn more about your vagina and vulva. So I recommended you a book because it's a booktube channel. So when this is done sterilizing, I'm gonna give it a go. I feel slightly apprehensive as to the ease of how well this is going to go. I think my main thing is how well it's going to go when I remove it, because obviously if it's filled with blood I don't know how much to expect in there, but I don't know how easy that's going to be to take out without spilling the blood, and obviously I wanted this to be a mess-free solution, so hopefully it's able to do that, but I don't know. I don't know how well this is going to go, but we can discover it together. I'm not literally going to film me removing it though, I'm just going to talk to you about it afterwards. So I'm going to give this a go, and I guess I will update you once I have successfully put in the menstrual cup. Hopefully it doesn't take me 10 hours. Okay, that probably took me about 5 minutes, but it's in. I put it in once and it wouldn't unfold, which I didn't really understand how it was meant to unfold. I assumed it would just kind of pop. So I could feel that it had made that seal that I said around the entrance to the vagina, but I couldn't manage to make it unfold. So I took it out, did it again, and I think it's unfolded. I can certainly tell it's there, but not in a way of like, I don't think I've done it wrong. I think it's the tail that I can feel, because obviously that is going to be pressing into your vulva, so you're definitely going to be able to feel the tail, I think, but the tail is how you pull it out. Also, this book tells you that you cannot get anything lost in your vagina, so if you're worried about that aspect of it, it's not possible apparently, so that's great. But yeah, I'm aware it's there, but probably because it's a new thing. I'm intrigued to see how it goes. So it's 12:30 at the moment, so theoretically I could leave it in until 12:30 in the evening. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, because again, I don't know if my period's going to be starting today or tomorrow, but let's see how it goes. I am going home today for lunch, so within my support bubble, so I will hopefully have no issues with it there. I think one of the reasons I've only started using the menstrual cup now as well is because I've moved out and I didn't really want to do it when I was still at home around people, because I feel it's quite a private thing and I don't really have to hide any of that now, as opposed to worrying that my stepdad might find a floating menstrual cup in a mug and think, what's this? It shouldn't really matter, but at the same time, for me testing it out, I just wanted it to be, I'm saying a private thing, like I'm not sharing this publicly on the internet, but hopefully you get what I mean. So, day one, hopefully it's okay. It wasn't as difficult as I thought to put it in. I would say you do need to be quite comfortable with your body and your vulva and vagina, because it isn't something that you can just flick in, like it has to be maneuvered in, and you have to be quite comfortable with what you are going to have to do with your hands to get that in. So if you're happy with that kind of thing, great, good. If you're not happy with that kind of thing, again, would definitely highly recommend this book, because it gives you the confidence to be able to explore your own body and just understand a bit more about it. So this is a different kind of video. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I find this kind of thing really interesting. I at time wanted, and still actually now would be really interested in being a sex ed teacher. So this kind of thing is all fascinating to me, as I know this isn't sex ed stuff as such, but it is about your own bodies and about just understanding different parts of ourselves. So this is really interesting to me. I don't know if it's interesting to you guys. Hopefully if you're watching this, you're somebody that is wanting to know more about this kind of thing, or at least wanting to watch my own experiences. So thank you for watching the video so far. Hopefully the rest of it proves to be an interesting learning experience and I don't just find this a hideous mistake. Hey, it's day 3 of the menstrual cup. I have not updated you since day 1 because this is not a weekly reading vlog. This is not something that there are constant changes with to update you, but I wanted to have used the menstrual cup for a couple of days before I gave you my first thoughts and experience, because when we spoke on Saturday, I hadn't started my period yet. I just was saying that I was going to be putting the menstrual cup in case I started. So I ended up starting my period on the Sunday. It is now Monday. On Sunday night, I had the period pains from hell. For context, I used to get really bad period pains when I was a teen. I then went on the pill, and then the period pains just were not nearly as bad. However, the last 3 periods or so, I have again had really bad period pains for the first day, and I don't know why, because that is not what I've had a lot of before for many years. So I'm slightly concerned. My mum said that a similar thing happened to her until she had me. I don't want the solution to period pains to be to have a child, because no. So basically I've been using the menstrual cup since, well, effectively since Sunday, I suppose, because my period didn't really start on Saturday. But I obviously had to remove the cup on Saturday and then reinsert, and then do that same thing like consecutively 2, 3, 4 times a day, depending on how I've been feeling. So, the removal of the menstrual cup. I feel like this needs chapter headings or something. Removing the menstrual cup was something I was concerned about, because I was worried that the rim of it would be quite painful to remove, because when you're popping it in, the rim is the first thing to go in, the thickest part of the menstrual cup. So once that's in, it's kind of just plain sailing, really-ish. Whereas that is the last thing to come out. So whilst the rest of it might come out easily, I thought that would kind of get caught a little bit. I'm not going to say it was the most pleasant experience. It's certainly a very strange feeling. It's a tugging, pulling feeling, essentially, around the entrance to your vagina, so it's not exactly the most pleasant experience. It wasn't painful for me personally, it just felt uncomfortable. It might be different for you, but I'm not going to write home about it. I didn't absolutely love the experience. But on removing it on Saturday night, there was nothing in it, so I basically just cleaned it, popped it back in, and proceeded to do the same thing until about halfway through Sunday, when I kind of knew that my period was starting because I was getting period pains. So I removed it then, popped it back in, and then there was, at that point, blood in it. Not much, and it's actually quite interesting because when you're wearing a sanitary towel, you can't really tell how much you're bleeding because obviously it absorbs some of the blood. So it's been interesting to see how much blood I do actually produce. I was unsure as to how I was going to feel seeing it in the cup. I didn't know if that was going to make me feel at all queasy or strange. I'm not squeamish normally, so I didn't expect it to, but obviously it's a bit of a different thing when it's literally in your hand. But to be honest, I was relatively fine. I went down the route of putting a very tiny bit of sink tap water in the cup with the blood and then tipping it down the toilet just to loosen it a little bit because it was stuck to the sides somewhat. I did warn you there would be talk of blood, but no visible showing of blood. So that was all fine. To be honest, I found that was quite simple. I've also found that the best way of getting it in is to put my foot up on the toilet and have one leg slightly above the normal position I was doing it in, because I was kind of standing with my legs open and kind of squatting, and that wasn't necessarily giving me the best path. So I've tried putting my foot up on the toilet and that seemed to be working a lot better. And when I removed it, I kind of, as if I was sat on the toilet, was squatting above the toilet just in case there was any mess and things, and it just would go in the toilet rather than on my bathroom floor. So the thing that I think honestly so far that I'm acknowledging is, one, I am enjoying the fact that it is very neat and tidy. Two, the feeling, because I can't feel it inside my vagina, but I can certainly feel the little tail part, because that is what you're using to pull it back out with, and I can feel that, which is strange because I know that that's probably natural to be able to feel that, because obviously that is literally touching my skin, so I'm going to be able to tell that's there, and I do kind of get used to it. It's not uncomfortable, it's just kind of there. But even if I tighten my pelvic floor muscles, I still can't feel the cup, so in that sense it's fine. The removal of it, honestly, point number 3, is not my favourite thing. I think you kind of need 2 hands almost of strength to be able to pull it out, because obviously you've got some kind of suction air thing going on there and it's not just going to fall straight out, otherwise it wouldn't be a very good menstrual cup. So I've been kind of, obviously wash your hands first, but I've been trying to like pinch for the tail and then pulling it out, and then I've been kind of gripping my hand like this as I pull, so I've got like double strength on it, because honestly it isn't the easiest, because obviously your muscles are tightening around it and things. So that has been a little bit of a challenge pulling it out, but it's never been something I thought, oh my god, it's not going to come out. I think it would be very hard to not be able to remove it at all, even if that involved you having to use your fingers a little bit more and physically squeeze the menstrual cup itself. I don't know how comfortable I would be with squeezing it, because I don't know how much blood is going to be in it, so I don't want to squeeze it and then just have the blood come out of it because of the force of the squeeze. At the moment I would say it's probably been about that much full with blood, so really not much at all. But the final thing that I think is the thing honestly I have struggled with the most so far, and it is getting a bit easier the more I use it, is the inserting of the menstrual cup. it is not the most simple thing. There are several different ways you can fold it. I showed you the common one that was recommended on the packaging in the first clip, but what I've been doing is kind of folding it down like a rose. I'm not going to show you right now because I am using it, but it's the rose fold, I think, or something like that if you wanted to Google it. So essentially you fold one bit slightly lower so they're not adjacent to each other, the two halves, because I was finding I was having an issue with it not unfolding, which was not the best because you kind of have to help it unfold, and at points that wasn't working either, so I just had to take it out and try again. So I think there's been a couple of times where I've removed it and put it back in about 3 times in a row, which is causing a little bit of soreness because of how much pressure and pulling and shoving, almost, that makes it sound really barbaric, but because of the amount of force going on down there to get it in and pull it back out and stuff, it's causing a slight amount of soreness because I've not been able to get it right. However, I think that I'm definitely noticing if you use lubricant, that is helping a lot. I wasn't using any to start with, and then I tried a little bit and that helped tremendously. I specifically bought lubricant for this because I read online that apparently that was going to be something to be able to help if you were struggling, and it didn't arrive until Sunday evening in my food shop. So I was doing on Saturday and Sunday without, and then as soon as that arrived I tried it with, and oh my god, way easier, because you've not got that resistance. It just goes in a lot easier, but it's still not necessarily going to unfold as easily. So I've been finding that often if it's not unfolding, it's because I've not folded it correctly to put it in to start with, or it's not fully in to kind of pop out. So I'll just push it a little bit further, jiggle about a little bit, and kind of pull the tail a little bit out and push it back in again, and then it seems to unpop. But I always check around the rim of the cup just to check that it's got that seal, and I'm wearing a panty liner as well. So far I've had no issues, there's been nothing in my panty liner, I've had no spills, I've had no mess. In that aspect, I highly recommend. I'm still experiencing what it's like for a full day of having my period, because I suppose now it's been about 24 hours since I had my period. So I'm definitely still working out what I think of it and if I like it and how I'm finding it, and I will continue to update you guys. But so far those are my thoughts and opinions, so hopefully this is somewhat of a useful video. As I said, this isn't meant to be a how-to, this is meant to be this is my experience personally. Watch me fail or succeed, just, you know, see what I'm going through. So if you choose to go through this as well, this will be a demonstration of what my first experience was like, just in case you think, oh my god, it's not going right for me. Well, this is how I'm experiencing it. Not the easiest to put in, not the most fun to remove, but I'm definitely sure it's something that comes with habit. But at the moment I feel like I am preferring it than having a sanitary towel in, because I'm just so much more aware with a sanitary towel, and also it just feels a lot cleaner and better for my body too. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with it so far. I will continue to update you, but those are my thoughts on day 3. Hey, it's day 4 of the menstrual cup wearing vlog thing. Day 4, it's Tuesday, and I have not been having the best experience today. So I was going to come on here today and say, oh my god, I've got the hang of it, I can get it in without struggle, it's not causing me any issues. But this morning I was really struggling. I thought I'd got it in fine, and then I noticed that there was a very, very small amount of leaking in the small panty liner I had in, just a very tiny amount. So I just thought, hang on, have I not done this right? Because I haven't had any issue with leaking throughout the past 3 days. So I took it out, put it in again, and I could feel it was wrong. I just knew it was wrong, but I was on a work call. So obviously couldn't do much about it at that point, but I could totally tell that I'd done it wrong. I could just feel that it was wonky on the outside bit, and therefore there was still leakage. So, 3rd time try, I'm still not convinced that it's completely okay. I don't know why I've suddenly not been able to get it in properly today, because honestly yesterday evening I was on a roll and I was finding it way easier and I felt way more confident with it. I am 100% finding it easier when I have got it lubricated, because that is just so much swifter to pop it in. But I think my main issue is currently working out how to get it to unfold. That is the main thing I'm having struggles with. So if anyone has any tips for that, let me know in the comments, because at the moment my best strategy is try different types of angles and folds and then try and pull it out and push it back in a little bit, so it unpops almost, which seems to be working. It's just getting it at the right angle so that that seal is covering the whole entrance rather than, I mean whole as in W-H-O-L-E, entrance rather than leaving any gaps, which is I assume why I've had a very, very small amount of leakage. But when I say small, I mean the smallest. It's not an issue. It's just that it's alerted me to the fact that I don't think I've put it in quite right. So we'll see. Normally my period will be finishing today / tomorrow. I think probably tomorrow because it started on Sunday. But I usually would wear a sanitary towel up until Friday just in case, because I sometimes do get some spotting after my period's finished. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do there. I don't know if I'll just leave the menstrual cup in, obviously removing it every like 8 to 12 hours roughly as I feel is needed, or if I'll just wear a panty liner for that time like I would normally. I don't know. So I will give whatever I feel is right a go, but this is my Tuesday update. I think I like it. I think it will be something I continue to use. It's not entirely without mess because I still need to get the order right of like, because I tend to get up in the morning and go for a wee, and that's when I remove it for the morning. But it's the order of removing it and going to the loo and stuff, but also putting it back in without having to like have that never-ending wipe when you've got blood. So it's like, it's trying to avoid that kind of thing for me, because that's what I wanted to get away from, was having to have the mess of it. I just wanted it all to be contained. And as well, as far as disposing of the blood, I'm really not that bothered by that. I think having done that now for a couple of days, it's just, I just kind of pop it down the toilet, and if there's any left, I will rinse it out in the sink and tip it again down the toilet, and then I'll just clean it in between uses as well, obviously, but I'm not finding that is too much of an issue. So that's my latest update. Again, I will continue to update you, but I feel like it's probably going to be more of the same from now, so if anything massive changes, I will let you know. But I will obviously round this up after the end of my period so I can look back on it as a whole experience. So I realised I never actually rounded up this menstrual cup vlog, so here I am, just a quick little summary at the end. I used the menstrual cup for a whole week / period cycle, and I found it was mixed. I think for comfort and ease of use is slightly where I struggled, because I could feel the tail at certain times, because that is obviously the bit that you use to pull it back out with. So I mean, it was good that I could feel that, because I didn't want that to not be something I could easily pull the menstrual cup out with, but at times that felt a little bit strange, but I think that's probably something that's going to take time to get used to. And then in terms of ease of use, I found the application a little bit more difficult than I wanted it to. Getting it in and unfolded was a little bit of a struggle, but again, it's only 1 week of me using it. I think that's something that's definitely going to come with use, and is definitely going to be something that comes with practice. So I will obviously keep using it and see how that benefits me later, and see how I grow with my understanding of the right ways to like fold it in and pop it in, because I'm gonna look more into it. I'm going to speak to other people I know that are using one, and just generally try and learn the best ways to approach it for myself. What I thought was better than I expected though was the removal of the menstrual cup. I felt like pulling it out wasn't what I expected it to be. I think I thought from the first time that I tried it out it was going to be painful, and there was going to be resistance with the top of it having like this rim around it that was going to be more painful to get out. But it wasn't. It came out fairly easily. It was quite easy to just tip it down the toilet or use a bit of water to tip that down as well. I've actually since read a book in which one of the characters is wearing a menstrual cup, and I thought that was really interesting, because I felt like, I'm doing that, she's doing it. That book was The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. Really good. Con artist book as well, YA thrillery thing, really good. But yeah, one of the characters was wearing a menstrual cup. I thought, yay, they're wearing one, it's being mentioned in fiction, let's normalise it some more. So yeah, there's that. I think that's pretty much all angles I suppose that I wanted to talk about it. The reasons initially that I wanted to try the menstrual cup, as I said at the start of this video, I wanted less mess, I wanted less waste, and I wanted less fuss. And I think it will get there. It's definitely got there with the less waste, although I am wearing the small panty liners just as I get used to it. And once I think I can see that I'm consistently not leaking at all, then that will be something I can eradicate as well. I like the fact that I can wear it through the night. I like the fact that it's just not something I need to think about, and it's just there, and it means that I feel like I can get on a bit more when I'm on my period. So generally, it's going really well. I'd say overall out of 10 I would probably give my experience like a 6 to 7 at the moment, because obviously I'm going to get more used to it and understand more how to use it correctly. But I'm liking it a lot, and I hope this video has been able to be insightful for you guys. I hope that you've been able to see why I wanted to use it and what I've got out of it, because yeah, looking back on those reasons, I definitely think it's the right solution for me, particularly on the mess front. I just couldn't be bothered. Every time I went to the loo, it's just this constant wiping thing when you're wearing a sanitary towel, and it's nice to know that you don't have to do that and you can just nip to the loo when you're wearing a menstrual cup. Whereas I feel like when you go to the loo and you're wearing sanitary towels, it's like you have to dedicate 5 minutes at least to the whole process of making sure that there isn't an entire mess, at least. So in that sense, yeah, it's doing really well, and it's definitely good ease of use and definitely good for waste. So that is me wearing a menstrual cup for a week for the first time. Again, I am no expert. I just want to share my experience with you guys. I hope this is something that's been useful. I know there's probably things that I've got wrong with it, but this is just me muddling my way through it and sharing my experience with you guys because I thought it might help normalize it a little bit. So hopefully it's done that. I don't know, but if you did like this video, I know it's a bit different, so please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, if it's something you'd like to see more of, or just comment anything you fancy down below to do with the video. Anything you found helpful, anything you've experienced personally that you want to share with people in the comments, anything at all. And if you'd like to see more videos, bookish, life-ish, anything like this as well, do subscribe, because if you guys enjoyed this video, I'll try and do more like this in the future. So thanks so much for watching, keep smiling and stay positive.